It's just pizza. How hard could it possibly be? The cheese. So this is what it looks like. Step 2, the sauce. So this is pretty much it. I know it's not the perfect marinara sauce, but it's going to work. So the next step is the dough. What the recipe requires before everything is we need flour, that's wheat flour or all-purpose flour. You need yeast, you need sugar, you need a bit of salt, and oil. Yeah, and you need oil. You can use olive oil if you fancy, if you have the money. If you don't have the money, vegetable oil will work just as fine. So I'm going to start with blooming the yeast, and that basically means I need a half cup of water. Then I'll dissolve a tablespoon of sugar in it, and then I'm going to put in a teaspoon of yeast, and then I'll leave that aside to bloom. So I have the water here ready. You can put it in the microwave. It just requires to be warm, just so that you can be able to dissolve the sugar. So I'm going to put it into the microwave. Easy peasy. Then I just remembered that I unplugged the microwave to plug in everything else. What is my life? So the water is ready. Half cup. So half cup goes in there. Tablespoon of sugar. All along I've been using this yeast as just like active dry yeast, and I forgot that it's instant dry yeast. Like, I'm not supposed to wait for this to bloom. It's not going to cause the thing to rot. So anyway, I think I'll just throw it in, and then we won't wait for it to bloom. We'll just go on with it. Now bake a teaspoon of yeast. So now that we've changed that very, very, very ridiculous angle, and that we've discovered that this is instant yeast and not like active dry yeast, so we don't have to wait for it to bloom. We can just keep going. So what we need is 1.5 cups of flour. So we're just going to put that in there and stir as we go. We want to put it slowly by slowly, just so that we have a bit more control of the dough. And put in the rest. Then we also need a teaspoon of salt. At this point, we move to using our phalanges. It's coming together. I'm just going to work this until it becomes smooth. You just want to keep working it. You can see how it's all come together. So this is what we want to do. We want to just keep working it. So we're making good progress. I just want to knead it just a little more. Ideally, you should knead this thing for around 15 or so, for around 15 or so minutes, which is the amount of time that I've been doing this for. So I'll just give it a few more minutes of this so-called kneading, and then we should be good. So the dough is pretty much ready. I just want to turn that to get the nice looking side up, and then I want to oil this thing first, and then also just oil this as well, hopefully so that it doesn't stick, because we're going to leave this to, what do they call it, proving. We're going to leave this to grow big, because you remember we put the yeast in, so I'm going to leave this to basically just grow in size. And there we go. I'm going to cover this with a cloth for 1 hour, and then we shall come back and see how it'll look after an hour. Side note, so I went and did I did some bit of clownery. Just when I was putting the dough away to rise, I got a call from a friend who she called me. There's something she promised she's going to give me, so I went and guys, as in I'm so amazed. Like guys have just been seeing my struggles, and wow, thank you so much. The person who gave these to me is called Mozzarella Roy. I'm going to link her TikTok here and also in the description. You guys should go follow her. They're amazing. She does amazing TikTok, so you guys could definitely go check her out. I'm going to link her TikTok below. Go and follow her. So now it's time. I want to go. I'm even afraid because I was supposed to take this thing out at 5:40 at 5:42 because I put it in like I set it aside to rest at 4:42. So I'm supposed to check it out at 5:42. And right now, as we speak, it is going to 6:30. So I hope nothing bad is going to come of it. So even more, I think I'm even more worried because I'm thinking, what if it's not risen? Let's wait and see. Oh my god, that's the moment of truth. I'm telling you guys, I've not even checked this thing out. I'm afraid. I don't even know what it looks like, but whew. Okay. Wait, it did grow big. And it didn't grow very big, but it grew big. It's bigger than it was before. It's bigger than it was before. Okay. Why does it look so soggy though? Clearly, the measurements that we were working with earlier are only good for one pizza. So that's what we're working with. And now what I'm just basically going to do is just to stretch this out. I'm just going to stretch this out. But so basically, this is it. This is your pizza dough. This is your pizza dough. All we used was flour. I got the small packet of flour, that's 58 shillings. And sugar, you have salt in your house. Dry yeast, like yeast is not expensive. I think it's like around 45 shillings if I'm not wrong. The packet of yeast that I had. And that was pretty much it. And the oil. That's it. That's all we required for the dough. So the next thing is baking. So as we were saying, we basically have everything, and now what we're trying to do is just to assemble it. So we have the sauce that we'd made. Believe me, I tasted this thing. Just a side note. Just a side note for you guys. I tasted this thing just after I'd made it, and it tasted a little burnt. So you'll just have to bear with me. It doesn't taste too bad. The only issue is that I burned it a little. So, but it actually tastes okay. So we're going to plop that there. You don't want to use too much. Just make sure it gets to where you want it to. It doesn't have to cover the whole thing. You don't want too much going on. You don't want it to be too soggy when it's ready. So that should be just about enough. Next, we have our cheese. I've cut it up into some strips, and we're just going to plop these on top. I'm going to put these on top. There. You could add more if you want. It's all right. And then I also have some basil leaves. These ones you can easily just get them from the supermarket. From the supermarket, like these ones, I got they were being sold at 35 shillings for a whole bunch. So I'm going to just put those there as well. Yeah, pretty much. And that ideally, this should be, I think I want some, just a little more sauce around the edges. Just closer to the edges. Just a bit. I don't know, it just looks a bit neglected on that, like on the outer areas. Yeah. And ideally, this is all you need. This is like all you need for a pizza. But I know we are Kenyans and we do like meat. I was thinking a good alternative would be this. And you're probably wondering what this is. So let me surprise you. Bam! Have I taken you back to your childhood? So I took this and I cut them up. So we're just going to put these just in case you really, really, really want to have the taste of meat. I really don't like an overloaded pizza. So I'm only doing this for you guys. So here it goes into the bottom rack. It's not the very, very bottom because I don't want it to burn. But I'll be checking in on it. The oven is actually quite hot. So 6 to 7 minutes, and then we're going to check the bottom just to make sure that it's not burning. So as we can see, it's coming along pretty okay. I just wanted you to see the bottom side. The bottom seems to be okay. It's actually quite brown. The dough is ready. When you poke the toothpick into it, nothing comes out. It's okay. It's pretty fine. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch on the broiler because I want the cheese to melt a little more and I want these to char a little. I've switched on the broiler and now I want to move the pizza higher. And then let this finish off just directly under the broiler, because I want the cheese to melt. Clownery, complete clownery. Like every time, I never learn. Anyway, I forgot the thing on the broiler and it's a bit burned, just a bit, but it's not too bad. So it burned a little, just a little on this side, but the cheese is, oh my god, this is melted. This is like, it's pretty much okay. It's not amazing because it burned a little, but it's okay. I want to cut into it and taste it. So I cut a piece of the thing. You can see how the like on the crust. Like it's actually like we did a pretty good job. So I want to taste it and see what it tastes like. It tastes so good. It actually tastes pretty good. I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. Quite pleased. Oh my god. The cheese, the basil. The only issue is just that the bread, the pizza dough burned a little on the edges, but it's pretty much okay. Don't worry about that. And you don't have to, just don't leave it on the broiler for too long. Alternatively, if you're doing something, no, don't do something else while you're doing this. Don't do something else while you're doing this. But it tastes really good. It tastes winning. And now, because we are pizza connoisseurs, because we are authorities on pizza, because we are the ones who say and determine, now we're ready to start reviewing pizzas from some of these places. So go ahead, make your pizza for cheap. If you're going to make them, by all means, post them on your Instagram, tag me so that I can see them as well. Otherwise, you guys just have an amazing, amazing, amazing time. Have a good day. Stay safe, stay positive. I love you.